Welcome back to another video. Today, I'm talking about the recent chapter, recent chapter of the JJK sequel. As we know, it has been revealed that there is another Six Eyes user, confirming that, again, Gojo is dead. We sorry about that, right? But Gojo is dead, and now another Six Eyes user is born. Of course, stopping one of the MCs in his tracks, and I'm not really going to show what they said because it's unofficial translations and it's still in its raw form. Of course, inevitably, should this Six Eyes user have the same potential or meet the expectations of Gojo? Of course, this new generation of JJK sorcerers are supposed to be something that surpasses the former generation, or something that is, that you're rebuilding the crew with just fresh faces with similar personalities, but most likely fresh faces. Inevitably, where you have Gojo as a young dude, since we will never get a for real Gojo come up story. Yuji is probably still kicking it, but we'll probably get a character like Yuji. We already have two heavenly restrictions, or at least one heavenly restriction user, or two heavenly restriction users. We also will probably see someone with like a major curse energy reserve, someone like a Yuta come strolling around, as well as someone from the Zenin clan that has, or someone, all in all, probably Megumi's descendants, that has the 10 shadows technique if Megumi ever married, as we know. So we'll see that crowd come together, inevitably fighting off these aliens with spin-off techniques, but kind of the same thing from what we've seen from the original sorcerers, as we know. Probably nothing like Sukuna, though. Nothing like Sukuna, because I just think Sukuna will return in this story, since we know he still has one finger out there. Anyway, within the Six Eyes user, let's hope he does not have Gojo's problem. As far as we know, Gojo's most likely forgotten the time. As we know, Yuta's grandchildren says Yuta and Maki played a huge part, or defeated Sukuna despite everything, not knowing, or probably that generation not telling the story of Gojo Satoru. Of course, knowing that he didn't really want to be remembered to his strength, he wanted to be remembered as the love carrying Gojo he was. His curse was more like his strength was more like a curse to him rather than a pleasure or a privilege, might I say. Other than that, this Six Eyes user that we see, of course, do you think he'll have the same problems as Gojo? I theorize, of course, within this Six Eyes user that we see, that he most likely does not have infinity. As we know, Gojo was a special case. You're most likely born with a one or the other. And since this theme is about twins, or some people supporting others despite their difficulties, you probably have one with six eyes, and we already know one with six eyes, and later there will be someone introduced with infinity. Of course, those two making the perfect tag team. Maybe him and his sister, maybe him and his brother, despite everything, or maybe him and a best friend. We'll see an infinity user and a Six Eyes user. So one, we can now see the capabilities of what those two could have been separately rather than together, as making them together makes a more powerful person and a more difficult person to write, as stated by Gege, saying, I made Gojo way too powerful, I had to take him out the story completely. He doesn't want that kind of dude again. So despite young, someone having a Six Eyes infinity user would still be incredibly powerful. As we know, someone like that born into the world makes everything more difficult. Sorcerers become more skilled, but the curses become way more powerful than ever before, despite anything, because now they have an adversary like a Gojo or a new Six Eyes and infinity user that makes you up the game. It's not safe walking these streets, with him out there. But that's just my take on it. I don't think he has infinity. Of course, we'll see his abilities. We know what Six Eyes does. I'll most likely not even have Hollow Purple or Hollow Red, because Gojo had infinity and Six Eyes, but I would hope Gege doesn't write someone like that to have a cursed strength like Gojo, as we know how used he was in the JJK story, despite the JJK Society being improved from Yuta and their generation being able to at least rebuild and make some things fair for the new kids, new students coming through. But that's my take on it. I didn't really read the whole chapter, but the whole chapter was fire. Of course, these are unofficial translations for the Six Eyes user, but we really do hope is one of Gojo's descendants. I know Gojo never had at least family we know of. So I hope this is one way we can expand Gojo's story. On top of that, not allowing him to return, but allowing us to get to know more about him, since we really didn't get to know Gojo except his difficulties with school and his strength. That's all we got to know about him. But yeah, that's kind of it. Like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.